Neue Klasse. Neue Heldenklasse.
Directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against
Sag bloß, die Talentbäume kommen wieder zurück. Ach, hör auf. Stream startet in 10 Minuten. Ja, wir haben es jetzt gerade so bis zu der Geschichte von World of Warcraft geschafft. Wir können noch kurz danach, ich muss nur gerade wegen der Lautstärke gucken, wir können uns danach noch die Geschichte weiterhören. Legion fand ich eigentlich gar nicht so schlecht mit den ganzen Klassenhallen und so weiter. Das war so mehr spezifisch auf die Klassen so zusammengeschnitten. Und jetzt fangen sie ja auch an mit Traditionsrüstungen für die alten Klassen. Bin mal gespannt. Bin mal gespannt, ob eine neue Rasse hinzugefügt wird. Es sollen ja die Drachen als spielbare Klasse kommen. Laut Leaks. Naja, schauen wir mal, ob wir Drachen spielen können. In menschlicher Form. Die Dämonenjäger kamen ja auch dabei. Die Todesritter, die sind dabei gekommen. Ja, schauen wir mal. Weil so viele kamen ja jetzt nicht dabei. Also jetzt in der letzten Zeit kamen nicht so viele neue Klassen dabei. Entweder neue verbündete Völker, kann man sagen. Mit Mist of Pandaria kam ja der Mönch dabei, dann die Pandaren. Damit konntest du dann beide Fraktionen spielen. Und wo wir gerade hier bei Battle for Azeroth sind, da kamen ja die verbündeten Völker dabei. Das ist aber so gesehen die Völker, die wir schon haben, nur die alten Völker, so wie ja die Zandalari-Trolle und die Nachtgeborenen und so weiter und so fort. Das kam dann so alles dazu. Aber gefühlt war BFA das schlechteste Add-on. Gefühlt, ja. Ich muss sagen, Shadowlands, ja. Shadowlands habe ich den Anfang sehr gemocht und auch die Storyline, die war okay. Also, ja, nicht die stärksten Add-ons. Nicht die stärksten. So, noch ein Minütchen. Wir haben noch eine Minute Zeit für Shadowlands. Muss ich aber sagen, Shadowlands eins der hübschesten Add-ons von der Grafik her. Vom Design her. Und das soll ja jetzt, was sie jetzt in Shadowlands aufgebaut haben, mit dem Design, grafikmäßig, soll jetzt mit Warcraft verschmelzen. Also, dass der Adenwald sich bei den Nachtelfen widerspiegelt und so weiter und so fort. Das soll jetzt kommen, bin ich gespannt. Ja. Hier zum Beispiel Maldraxxus, mehr dieses Design für die Horde oder auch für die Untoten zum Beispiel. Das wäre ganz nice. Oder die Bastion, Design für die Menschen. Weil das Licht, das Licht kommt ja noch, wird ja jetzt, denke ich mal, Thema sein bei der neuen Erweiterung. Und da wird das Licht in Sturmwind einziehen. Das ist nicht gut. Das ist nicht gut, weil Licht ist nicht immer gut. Da wo Licht ist, ist auch viel Schatten. Das darf man nicht vergessen.
Das ist eines der besten DLCs, die kamen.
Was? Shadowlands?
Shadowlands.
Ich glaube, das schlecht. Oh, Trailer. Trailer. Hör mir auf. Alte Trailer. Vollgas. Hype. Bockt. Angriff. Wo kam denn die Gänsehaut denn jetzt auf einmal her? Wo kam die denn her? Let's go.
Hi everyone, I'm John Haidt, General Manager for Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazzakostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft, and Holly Longdale, who leads up the production team for WoW Classic. I really appreciate you tuning in. I know we're really excited to be able to give you updates on what's happening in World of Warcraft. But first, I want to thank our community for all the feedback you've given us this year, and especially our community council. You've helped shape and influence the updates that we've done recently and what you're going to see in the upcoming year.
I mean, really, for Shadowlands in particular, the story of the last 9 months or so of this expansion is all about the community, and it's shaped by what we've been hearing from them, and us realizing as a team that we just collectively
Ich gucke mal gerade, vielleicht, der Livestream läuft ja auch auf YouTube, vielleicht gibt es dann einen automatischen Übersetzer. Schauen wir mal da rein.
Also presented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play World of Warcraft.
Wir haben einen Untertitel, zwar auf YouTube und direkt übersetzt, aber es dürfte besser sein.
From the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Things like the method and pacing of acquisition of the Covenant Legendary item, tons of tuning, and I think every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward those lessons learned in the course of 915 into Eternity's End and beyond.
So WoW Classic came about because of the community.
Yeah, they continue to help guide and support us as Classic evolves.
World of Warcraft has always been about the world and the players that inhabit it. And we are in a lot of ways curators and caretakers of that journey.
Jetzt stört mein Button da unten.
And so once this classic community formed and grew, we had to listen to them.
It's this tide of listening to the community and paying attention to what is a good experience for our players now. And where we really saw a sea change in this idea is with our season mastery round. And initially we were talking about it like it was going to be like a fresh start. We were talking about it like experiment in a season. It'll be about a year long. And then when the community found out about it, we started seeing this upswell.
Yeah, the team just took that idea and ran with it and turned, what started out as a small community project into this Soul of Iron system that became a centerpiece of Season of Mastery and a whole new opt-in hardcore mode that we've seen communities built around. Lots of, thrilling victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
Yeah. And it continues, like Burning Crusade Classic. We wanted to balance the Paladin seals between Horde and Alliance, so we made an addition there. We wouldn't have gotten there without the community's input.
So, influence the community, you've got another update and pretty significant controversial change for this.
Yeah, cross-faction play coming in 925. Which is on a public test ROM now as a big centerpiece.
Cross-faction. Yep. You're breaking with a 17-year tradition.
Yeah, it's something. It was not an easily made decision by any means, and I think this is another one of those areas where really we try to take to heart community feedback and requests and ask ourselves as a team whether there's a way to accommodate such an earnestly held desire and still feel like we're being true to the roots of the game. I think players desire to play with their friends who might prefer a different faction, or to play with the faction that they more closely identify with.
So, sorry, hab's nochmal geändert. Geht wieder.
Their raid group is elsewhere.
It's really important for me. I play a lot of alts, and I love absorbing the story for each race, and having that ability to play with all of my friends across factions is fantastic.
At the end of the day, the battle cry is for the Horde. It's not against the Alliance. It's not death to the Alliance. It's about pride in one's faction, and I think there's a way to preserve that and even strengthen that while giving players the ability to make the same choice we've seen the greatest heroes make time and time again.
I can't wait to do this. I'm seeing a lot of my friends that I never knew had a max level character in the other faction suddenly come out of the woodwork.
And then, with these cross-faction groups, many of them are going to be diving into something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands, a Season 4. Kind of a remix, a bit of a greatest hits, revisiting all of our raid zones across the expansion, bringing in some familiar older favorites into the Mythic Plus rotation. And we recognize this is kind of a closing chapter, a little bit of a send-off to Shadowlands. As everyone gets ready for what happens next, what will come next, want to give a fun new challenge for everyone to sink their teeth into.
Really cool stuff for modern WoW players. I'm super excited about the gear upgrades that you're going to give me and the chance to go back and play some of those awesome raids.
There's a lot to explore. Very exciting.
For our next adventure in World of Warcraft, we're going to go back to Azeroth. We're going to a space with high fantasy.
Nice.
I mean, our fans have asked for this for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Will man schauen? Hör mir auf.
The world has been sundered. It cries out in pain. We must go to its aid. We entrust our ancestral home to you, 'The Watchers. slumber, hidden even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then, you must light the beacon of Tearhold, lest the path home be lost to us forever.
Cinematics können sie.
Is healing. But her fate is yet uncertain. Together, we shall be Azeroth's protectors once again. Here, the new age of dragons shall begin.
Dragonflight. Und was für ein Logo. Das ist ja mal ganz anders. Krass. Okay. Also wenn das Logo jetzt schon neu ist, dann muss alles andere auch neu sein. Leute.
This is so cool.
No one saw it coming.
Nice.
No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But seriously, I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening
Das war schon,
of the Dragon
ja
Isles,
gut, dass da ist.
the return
Das
of
ist Cinematic.
dragons,
Cinematic
the dawn
war
of the
immer
new
so
age.
in WoW.
Right, we've seen Rathian searching for
Yeah.
his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them. until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also beckoning the dragons back urgently.
Die Drachen wurden gerufen jetzt durch dieses Licht.
Pretty
Ja.
good variety of locales within the Dragon Isles.
Yes, the Dragon Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion, consist of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
Can you talk a little bit about how the team found ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environments?
The Dragon Isles are a place that is lush and primal, bursting with elemental energy. As Azeroth herself reawakens, those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the
Azeroth
icy
wird also
wastes of the
wiederbelebt,
Azure
ja.
span. And each one of those has a connection to a Dragonflight that we've seen before. And it's going to be an amazing place for players to arrive at and explore.
All right, you know I'm going to ask.
Yes, okay, so
Can I be a
Kann ich ein
dragon?
Drachen sein?
let's start getting into some features here and
Okay,
what
features.
Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place. So first off, yes, we have an all-new playable race.
Eine neue spielbare
the
Rasse.
Drakthir race.
Yeah.
Die Drachen!
This is a
Hör mir
dragon
auf,
and
geil!
draconic race, but dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on a humanoid form.
Die
What classes
können wie
can
die
they be?
Worgen.
They
Es sind wie die
have-
Worgen. Krass.
Das ist die
Unique
Rasse, die
abilities
ich gesagt
as
habe,
literally a
das
dragon.
Ja, genau.
That doesn't quite fit any of our existing classes. And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a
Klasse.
new class.
Eine neue
adding a new race
Heldenklasse.
to World of Warcraft and not just an allied race is something that we don't do
Neu
lightly.
verbindet.
But telling this expansion, this story, so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time for it. So if you are a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class. Drakthir can only be
Die
Evokers,
Ruferklasse.
Evokers can only be Drakthir. And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an Evoker
Drakthir
is
kann
that
nur
an
ein Rufer sein,
Evoker
wie
is
Todesritter
really
nur ein Todesritter
combining
sein kann, ja.
the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has. The ability to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style striking
natürlich
deep
fliegen,
breath
ist ja
over
klar,
the
im
battlefield,
Onyxia-Style.
land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet,
Flügelstoß ist drin.
and then unleash your magical abilities.
Yes, please.
Ja, bitte. Ja,
The Evoker
bitte.
has 2 specializations. They're a hybrid
Zwei
of either ranged
Spezialisierungen.
DPS or healer.
Fernkampf
And
und
they wear
Heiler.
mail armor. We figured, with the new hero classes we've added over the years, we have enough melee. We don't need more of those.
Also du
And
machst
also
Schadens,
probably
also
don't need any
DD
more
oder
leather
Heal.
wearers.
The
Das ist
raid
ganz
leaders
nett.
are going to love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero
Kombination.
class. And so that means that, like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58. Then they're going to have a new starter zone. So they're going to
Sie
have a slightly
starten bei
different
Level
journey into the
58.
Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of
klar.
us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like what is going to be able to identify my Drakthir character?
Basically anything and everything. Skin color, hair color, jewelry, tattoos, other adornments. You can make this character the expression of your identity in Azeroth.
New zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates,
System
features.
Of course, the new expansion brings with it, new systems, new features. I think in recent expansions, one of the things we've tended to do is really have these deep features that were closely tied to a specific expansion that would then get left behind.
Schon
as we
lange kein
moved
Schiff
on.
mehr runtergefallen.
And we've heard loud and clear from players that, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, by leaving a large part of your progression behind. So this time around, what we're doing is really pouring all of our energy into permanent revamps, overhauls, and
Oh,
improvements
richtig
to World of
Arbeit
Warcraft's
reinstecken
core
also.
systems. Things like our progression systems, in this case, our talent system is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
So with the talent revamp and the arrival of Classic, did you learn anything about how our talents work?
I think seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and work through those talent trees really underscored some of the things that
Moment,
frankly, we
Talentbäume.
lost when we shifted to the Mists of Pandaria style talents and beyond. A big piece of that was some of just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character to make yourself a bit better in some specific way. But also, that sense of hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against
Sag
those
bloß, die
sort of utility
Talentbäume kommen
hybrid
wieder
choices,
zurück.
'cause
Ach,
we
hör
know
auf.
that there's always a right outcome there.
Als
And we
Hybrid
also
kannst du dann auch
understand
spielen.
that there's a lot of strength in the flexibility of the modern talent system to let players customize their talents for a particular encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
So John, UI?
Oh my God.
Jetzt aber.
Yes, I got
Hau
this
mal rein.
30-inch monitor, trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going on in chat. It has literally made my eyes go like this. So,
And you're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental changes and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp. This is an overhaul. And so we're excited to really modernize the look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. Now, at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want a much better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
and can I reduce elements, remove elements? If I want to explore the world and see the beauty of Azeroth,
When it comes to specific elements, as much as possible, we want to let players
Die
choose
übernehmen
what
einfach
to
die
show,
Add-ons,
what
die
to hide,
Möglichkeiten
so that
davon.
they can control it themselves.
You mentioned professions. I have a
Berufe.
critical question about this.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
yeah, I knew it.
Ich will auch eine Kochmütze. Was?
Our approach to professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on fantasy and
Drachenschwarm
identity
heißt
as
die
a crafter.
Erweiterung.
And so if you want to be a serious blacksmith, if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to invest time and energy into that, become a master crafter, be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community. One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more convenience than just spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats, offer a commission, and a skilled blacksmith can come along and make you the weapon of your dreams.
Nein,
I
cool.
think we left out one
Du
thing.
kannst
though.
Arbeitsaufträge
Be a
erstellen. Wenn du kein
drag
Schmied
go to
bist, kommt ein
Dragon
Schmied
Isles.
vorbei und
Can I
schmiedet dir das
have a
Ding.
dragon?
What's the fantasy of dragons if not soaring over the lands? And so we're really excited to introduce a feature that we're calling dragon riding. It's dynamic with everything from momentum to dive bombs, the ability to just sort of build
kannst
that speed up
Sturzflüge
and
machen.
feel the world rushing past you in a way that should be much more exciting than traditional flight that we've made available in the past, but that's also available for players through a customizable dragon mount right from the start.
Anpassbares
So-
Drachenreittier.
This is a skill you learn over time, right, to become an awesome dragon rider?
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the Dragon Companion that you have is, of course, very thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts.
Drachenzähmer.
This is not just a generic dragon that everyone has, but a drake that is yours. What do you want its scales to look like?
Wie kann die
Horns, the
Schuppen
shape of its
aussehen,
head,
Hörner,
other
Form, Kopf?
attachments, armor pieces,
Okay.
and more. Take your pick.
Rüstungsteile
Das ist so
kannst du im
cool.
Ding verpassen.
So yes, the Dragonflight expansion is going to see players leveling to 70, going to the all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for our Drakthir class, as well as a range of systems revamps, such as a new talent system, an overhaul and
Das
update to our
Talentsystem, ich kann
UI,
gerade
and an
nicht.
entirely fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before. Also getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you can fly in a sense from the start. And of course, as with any new expansion, we have a new set of dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so please stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're going to go next. One of the all-time favorite expansions for World of Warcraft. Let's watch the cinematic.
We had forgotten. Did you think we had forgotten? Nothing more. Has just begun. Not my king yet.
Why'd you do this?
Argent Crusade comes for you and of your father, of your people, for all the lives you've stolen.
My son, the day you were born, the very forests of Lordaeron whispered the name Arthas. When my days have come to an end, shall be king.
Natürlich geht das Klassikabenteuer weiter. In 2022. Dieses Jahr noch. War natürlich gerade abgelenkt. Gerade in dem Moment kommt die Oma rein.
The cinematic, I get chills. No pun intended, I get chills. As you saw, Wrath of the Lich King Classic is coming this year. It brings back so many memories. When you see that cinematic, what do you remember from Wrath of the Lich King?
Anytime you
Die
want to talk
Erweiterung,
about
worauf ich
undead
warte.
frozen dragons,
Das Classic-Spiel,
how can
was
you
ich
not go back
streamen
to
werde.
Syndragosa as the source?
Ja,
That was the
genau.
first expansion I played with my youngest son. So I can remember on that platform, black goo and chunks of ice falling off and having to repeat that battle with the Lich King. But when we finally
Ganz normal, dass die
downed it,
reinkommen.
it was such an incredible moment.
Jetzt
He
ist gerade
jumped up
Jackie
out of
runter,
his
weil die
room
Oma
and I jumped
Gardinen
up out of
aufhängt.
my office. We're like, yeah, did it. So it's a very lasting tale for me.
So as you know, with this expansion, you will, in pre-patch, be able to play the Death Knight. They will start at level 55. You don't have to have a high-level character to make a Death Knight, so everyone will be able to make one.
We're excited to give players some time before Wrath officially launches to get geared up and ready to jump into Northrend with everybody else.
And there are so many zones and areas to explore in Northrend, and I want us to talk about some of our favorites. So for me, Grizzly Hills has a very special place in my heart. The music was some of the best I've experienced in World of Warcraft.
I still make my way all the way up to Storm Peaks to try and find the time-lost proto-drake and have yet to get it.
I've got to say Dragonflight. The wide open nature of the zone, Wormrest Temple in the center of it, it's an unforgettable expansion as both a developer and a player and kind of making that transition from one to the other.
Now let's talk about some changes. So one thing we looked at is Dungeon Finder, and it feels like how we envision Classic, Dungeon Finder is not a good fit for our community.
That was kind of the first step that may have eroded some of that social fabric. Now, as people have gone through the experience of going back to vanilla, rebuilding those groups, relying on each other, not wanting necessarily a random participant just to show up and then leave.
Ohne Witz,
Yeah,
das
that
wird
makes
auf
total
jeden
sense.
Fall die
But today, you can do that
meistgespielteste
in Shadowlands.
Classic
You'll be able to do that in Dragonflight.
Server-Erweiterung.
It's a
World
self-selected
of the
group
Lich
of
King.
people
Damit
who
habe ich
specifically
angefangen mit
want
WoW.
that
Damit
different
werden wir wieder
experience.
anfangen.
Let's make
Das
sure
wird
that's what we
nice.
continue to give them.
That leads right into arena teams in Burning Crusade Classic. So we listened to the community and we removed that because individual rating is preferable and a better experience for them than arena teams. Also, with Wrath of the Lich King, Barbershop, which allows you to customize your character. We're going to be adding a few more options that were not existing when Wrath launched. But also there's another side of this where we are not going to charge a real money fee. It was a paid character customization fee, right?
Yeah.
It seems the right thing to do that just be available in-game for gold and we add more options to it, right?
It's sort of like spell batching in a sense. There's a lot of technical advancements, and it's not about the philosophy of what makes Classic classic and what brings people together.
Ja,
It's
also werden
just
sie auch an
what's the
der
better
Erweiterung
experience,
weiterarbeiten. Sehr nice.
and let's not artificially restrict something that we can provide a better version of just for the sake of nostalgia. And we're happy to say this is one of those cases.
So Wrath, the level cap's being increased to level 80, so we'll be introducing a level 70 boost so that players who want to get in with their
Gibt
friends
natürlich
or
auch einen
just
Level
explore
70er Boost,
Northrend
ist ja
right
klar, das
away,
ist
we'll
aber
be able to
aktuell
do
nun mal
that.
so, ja.
You can't apply it to a Death Knight, but you will be able to use it otherwise. And of course, we have Inscription, a whole new
Inschriftenkunde kommt
profession,
dabei,
so we're really
der
excited
Friseur,
about
die
that.
Erfolge,
Yeah, and
ja.
as we continue this road to Wrath, we're going to be looking to getting a lot more feedback on beta, and we'll make changes as we need to.
Also die
Such an
arbeiten auch an
exciting
der
time
Erweiterung.
to be
dann
playing
weiter.
World
Alles
of
klar.
Warcraft. We have the return of the Wrath of the Lich King for Classic fans and taking us somewhere new with Dragonflight. We're so excited to be able to bring these adventures to you. Don't forget, there's a deep dive on Dragonflight where you're going to get a lot more information. Thank you so much for spending this time with us, and we'll see you in Azeroth.
And we'll see you in Northrend.
And in the Dragon Isles.
Okay. So Dragonflight, Deep Flight. Okay, es geht weiter.
Hi there. Welcome to the
geht weiter.
Dragonflight Deep Dive. I'm Steve Denuser.
And I'm Taryn Gregory. Starting it off here, we're going to talk about the setting and the story of Dragonflight.
We've got this great expansion, exciting pre-render trailer that everyone just watched. So let's talk about the setting for Dragonflight, the Dragon Isles.
Dragon Isles have been known for a long time in Warcraft history as a mysterious place where the dragons came from long ago, but we never knew much more than that.
We're going to this place that is kind of the broodlands of all the Dragonflights, the place where they nested, where they built their civilization. The Dragon Isles was the center of the Dragon's kingdom when the world was young and the mortal races were just starting to form kingdoms of their own. But when the Legion invaded for that War of the Ancients, that sundering that resulted from the explosion of the Well of Eternity, broke the world.
Literal sundering of the continents of Azeroth.
And because of the breaking of the world, that magic kind of drained away and the land went dormant. So they had to leave the Dragon Isles behind. And as we saw in the pre-render, they left behind some Titan Watchers to look over the land. And when someday they hoped that elemental energy would resurge once again and draw the dragons home and reestablish their kingdom.
Also werden die Kräfte der Drachen wieder erweckt dadurch. Also ja, sie haben hier ihre Macht abgegeben im Kampf gegen Todesschwinge. Genau. Also wie gesagt, sie wurden sterblich dadurch und jetzt bekommen sie durch diese Dracheninsel bekommen sie ihre Macht wieder zurück.
We're looking into the culture of dragons as they exist in Warcraft.
Dragons as we know them today were very different in the early past, the early history of Azeroth. They were much more primitive, much more savage, what we now know as proto-dragons.
And then some of the dragons were empowered to become the aspects. The green flight, red flight, blue flight, bronze flight, black flight, each with unique powers, each with the ability to protect the world in different ways. These pillars of draconic power appointed to defend Azeroth from threats within and without.
Dragons used that power both for good, in the case of most of the aspects, but also for nefarious reasons in the case of the Black Dragonflight led by Neltharion, who would become Deathwing.
And what we will find in Dragonflight is that some of these ancient divisions run deep. And so it begs the question, where do we go from here? If this is an opportunity to reclaim their legacy, to be the protectors, as the cinematic mentioned, that they once were.
To do that, they're going to need the help of our heroes, our players, to come to the Dragon Isles with them and face some of these reawakening challenges, because it's not just that this land is peacefully waiting for the dragons to return and reclaim it. There's those old enemies that have awakened as well.
Yeah.
One of those being a race of kind of elemental half-giants, the Jarradin.
The Dragon Isles isn't just populated by dragons or just by the Jarradin. There's also many other occupants here in the Dragon Isles that have been here either just recently or for a while.
Da leckt's aber noch ein bisschen, ne?
Fan favorite coming back, the Tuskar.
That's going to be
Die
awesome.
kommen
We've
wieder.
got other cultures there as well in the Dragon Isles. We're going to find out about a civilization of centaurs that predates the ones that arose on Kalimdor.
Zentauren werden auch dabei
Some of
sein.
our favorite characters that we've seen over the last few expansions, such as Rathian.
And whether he's
Uhorion?
ready to
Ja,
step up
natürlich.
into a leadership role.
Er wollte ja
or
auch seinen
if there are
schwarzen
other
Drachenschwarm wieder
alternatives out there
aufbauen,
that
aber
would be better
ja,
suited
einen
to the
guten
job
schwarzen
of being the
Drachenschwarm.
aspect of the Black Dragonflight.
I think one thing the players are going to be really excited about this expansion is the new playable race, the
Ja, davon werden wir auf jeden Fall einen spielen, das ist ja wohl klar.
Something that Neltharion, before he was Deathwing, before he went full crazy world dragon, that he put into motion.
Neltharion saw those primalists that were kind of breaking away from the aspects and what they wanted. And so, in those first experiments, he took the essence of dragons, their strength, their nobility, their wisdom, and he combined it with that scrappiness, that adaptability that the mortal races had. And he wanted to use that to create the ideal soldier in his mind, the Drakthir. Exploration is really one of the key themes of this expansion. We're going to be going to this ancient place that the dragons left behind long ago. So we've made these huge zones with all kinds of places to delve into and find little treasures and little secrets tucked away. It's going to be a lot of fun for players to be exploring these landscapes.
And there's so much architectural history and how clearly aspirational was the kingdom of the dragons and how it lost so much. And the themes of trying to return to that, to try to find your legacy, to try to figure out who you were before everything went awry. But there's questions, thematic questions of What does it mean to be true to your legacy? Are we going to repeat the mistakes of the past?
The dragons have had to learn those lessons just like the mortal kingdoms have had to. And I think that's one of the reasons why the dragons see this now as the time that they have to return and they have to step up once again as protectors of Azeroth. We're helping the dragons because the dragons have helped us in the past too. So by using the Explorers League and the Reliquary together, that allows us to delve into some of that history.
And when I look, upon the Dragon Isles in all of its visual splendor, I get so excited for the prospect of a truly Azerothian adventure alongside Calicos, along with Rathian, Ebonhorn, with Ysera's daughter Marithra, as each one of them is trying to find their own flight.
Sie verraten aber nichts, oder vielleicht kommt das noch, was mit Azeroth passieren wird. Da wird nämlich auch einiges passieren. Ich bin mal gespannt.
New horizons within this world.
There's going to be old stories from that time past, that history that only the dragons knew for the longest time. We're going to be able to explore that.
It really feels like just a breath of fresh air.
So now we're going to turn things over to some of our colleagues who will take you on that deep dive into the locations and the features of Dragonflight.
Was mega cool sein wird, das ist, wenn du deinen eigenen Drachen bekommst, den du selber gestalten kannst und der natürlich auch dieses Flugverhalten von Drachen hat. Mega gut.
The Waking Shore and the Onaran Plains.
Onahara.
The very first zone in Dragonflight you're going to come to is the Waking Shores. It's wild, untamed land. It's waking up around you too, and the elements are just going crazy.
The art team again has hit it out of the park.
You'll see like a lava mountain flowing in through the beach, giant proto-dragons swooping down, gobbling up members of your expedition.
We have such rife opportunities to show elementals rising up because of the crazy magic that's flying around.
The one of the things I love is just how you get to the Dragon Isles, right? So you're gonna get on your boat in Stormwind or Orgrimmar, and the first thing you do is sail between like the dragon ruin architectures. The boats come right alongside each other. You can jump from one boat to the other and just start causing havoc on the other faction's boat.
For those who love PvP, this is a great opportunity for war mode.
It's free for all out there. It's gonna be great. But it's okay. There's an innkeeper on the beach, so that if you're in that situation and you don't want to be in war mode anymore, you can just hop out right there.
The Reliquary and the Explorers League are working together.
The Horde and Alliance are sending an expedition together. It's not the military, it's not the soldiers. This is the scientists, the settlers, exploring this new land. So it's a lot more optimistic tone.
One of my favorite things about the Waking Shores is the Red Dragonflight, led by Queen Alexstrasza, the Lifebinder. They have the mandate of nurturing and protecting all life, which means Horde and Alliance, Gorloks, trolls, everybody. So they take that duty seriously. When the Horde and the Alliance come to the Waking Shores, they want to be there to help guide the people through the new land and welcome them. But they're not the only one in the Waking Shores.
We have the ancestral home of the Black Dragonflight there too, which has fallen on tough times since Deathwing's descent. And so Rathian's coming over to the Isles with us, and he's gonna try and come to terms with the state of the Dragonflight, which is a few loyal Draconids and Dragon Spawn trying to hold their ground. What can the future of the Dragonflight be if it's just Rathian? Because it's not just the dragons that are coming back to the Dragon Isles, but also their longtime rival, the Jarden.
I love the Jarden so much. They're half giants that wield the power of magma, and when the Waking Shores and the Dragon Isles went to slumber, they also slumbered. They're back now, and they are ready to raise chaos.
Yeah, they're massive. They're riding giant lava mammoths,
Man
parading
braucht natürlich seine Gegner, gegen die man kämpft. Ja, logisch. Das wird ja nicht nur eine friedvolle Insel sein, wo wir jetzt hinkommen. Aber sie heißt Drachenschwarm. Also die Erweiterung, weil es hieß Dragonflight, Drachenflug oder keine Ahnung. Nee, Drachenschwarm würde ich sagen. Die deutsche Variante davon.
Those around them negatively, to make sure
Also
they
so ist es hier
don't
zu
go
lesen.
on a rampage and destroy the ecosystem that has been created here.
And so those are awesome things in the Waking Shore, but Steph, there really is only one right answer for the best thing in Waking Shores, right?
What?
This is true. Ducks.
We finally have those webbed feet hooligans in our game. We cracked the technology.
Es kommen Enten in WoW. Da wird der Antagonist sich aber freuen.
It's gonna be awesome.
Das ist cool. Das Beste an dieser Erweiterung. Enten. Natürlich.
The Onaran Plains are big, wide open plains. And the player is going to be constricted a little bit, and then you see this big contrast of a zone. We don't always get that opportunity, that cinematic moment where the player can have a framed view and they see this area.
Ja, so gehen die Stifte schneller kaputt, wenn sie runterfallen.
Postcard shot of the plains, And then you see this giant fire proto-dragon breathing fire, and a herd of centaur like harpoon down the proto-dragon and crash into the ground. And the first thing you get to do is go help them kill the proto-dragon. Like, how cool is that?
Who is Onara?
Wird das eine Erweiterung zum Thema Drachenzähmen leicht gemacht? Frag für einen Freund. Wir haben so ein paar Freunde, für die ich fragen muss.
She's the one who guided the centaur to the Dragon Isles many, many years ago. She blessed them, took their caravan across, and then showed them the plains.
How fun at the beginning of this expansion was exploring the culture of the centaur.
The centaur are these mighty, awesome hunters that back when they first came to the Dragon Isles, they fought the green dragons all day long. Eventually they realized that we're strong, you're strong. Maybe we
Die
should stop
Zentauren sind
decimating
jetzt nicht
other
wirklich neu in
people.
WoW, aber sie scheinen hier wirklich krass thematisiert zu werden.
You guys
Das
hang
wird
out
auch,
in the
ja,
groves, and the
das wird auch so ein
centaur hang
Stamm
out
sein.
in the plains. But now the dragons have been gone for 10,000 years. And the centaur have come so far since then. And they've been here, and they've been existing and developing their culture. They all came over as one clan led by the mighty Maruk and Tira, and they founded a new life here. So if you want to get across, you have to follow their rules and their traditions. You have to earn their trust. You are the first outsiders to come in generations upon generations. The centaur might rule the open plains, but the green dragons make their home in the groves. And those groves are absolutely gorgeous.
And how great a job it is that we have where I can take all of this beautiful artwork and build these beautiful fantasy groves, high fantasy. We want to do lots of things with an open plain, and we want to be creative with them. But we're restraining ourselves by letting the zone sing, letting the horizon tell the story. We certainly couldn't have done that in the vanilla WoW.
No, definitely not. The zones are so big, and you can see so
Das haben
far,
sie mit,
especially in the Northern Plains.
mit Seraph Mortis haben sie das gut hinbekommen, dass sie das Land eine Geschichte so hinbekommen haben, dass das Land die Geschichte erzählt. Über Musik, über Eindrücke, über Events, was sie bei Classic ja noch nicht konnten. Das versuchen sie jetzt.
So much crazy stuff happening, but that's not really all we're doing. There's so much extra fun activities for people to do. And the greatest thing is that you need to figure out exactly what's going on and help solve all the problems that are just sprouting up everywhere.
We're just really excited to tell a
Es
story
wird natürlich hunderte von
that's
Quests
grounded in
geben.
Azeroth and exploration. There's so much more to talk about. But now we're going to have some folks talking about the next two zones that players are going to experience in the Dragon Isles.
Momentan geht es über die neue Erweiterung. Finde ich ja ganz gut. Aber in Azeroth verändert sich ja auch einiges. Bin ich so gespannt.
Hello, everyone. My name is Kate.
Hallo.
I'm Christy. I'm
Hi,
Kate.
Christy. Hi, Kate.
I'm Sean.
Hi,
We're gonna
Sean.
talk today about Valdrassus and the Azure Span. So Azure Span is going to be the third zone that
Es gibt
players
natürlich auch ein
venture
sehr
through, and
dunkles.
it's one of our biggest zones that we've done in the Dragonflight, maybe even to date.
We knew it was going to be like the largest visual elevation change, and it really started with this great concept art. When we first were taking a look at the design, we kept coming back to one of our favorite Wrath zones, which was Grizzly Hills. And we
Die
really
gehen immer so ein bisschen mehr noch back to the roots. Das mit den Talentbäumen, das fände ich sehr gut. Sehr gut. Das wieder wie blöd googeln, damit du deinen Charakter richtig skillen kannst.
Sun shines through. That's really what we wanted to encapsulate with this forest. And not only we have redwoods, we've got all different types of trees. Eventually, it'll break open into this wide open tundra that's just golden and red, and you'll reach up to another level of elevation where you get to see the snow. The majority of the zone is covered in snow and ice. We have giant frozen waterfalls, ice rivers as far as
Gefrorene
the eye
Wasserfälle,
can
geht das?
see. And Sean, I know in the forest we can expect our first creatures.
We have a small group that lives there called the Gnolls.
Die Gnolle.
These Gnolls are all throughout the forest in Azure Span. They've made this their home. Some Gnolls with strange magic that we're going to find out what exactly that's about.
Hogger.
Snow Gnolls.
Ach, die sind ja nice. Die sind ja putzig. Wieso gibt es die nicht als Rasse? Das wäre viel cooler. Guck mal.
So then we go into the big open tundra
Au, sind mal
where
cooler.
we meet our second group, the Tuskar.
It's going to be really neat to explore their culture a lot more.
And those kids are adorable.
Nicht
I
alle
absolutely love the
Stifte in einer Hand, sonst fällt die
Tuskar.
schon
Honestly,
runter.
all my downtime's probably just me hanging out with the Tuskar.
So it's been a little while since you've
Ah ja,
seen them.
natürlich auch grafisch
Tuskar
überarbeitet,
from
die,
Wrath of the Lich King. They're
die
also getting a
Tusker.
nice, cool
Also das ist
upgrade
alles so
models,
angelehnt an, wie
along
gesagt,
with
Back to the
expanding their
Roots.
culture. So
Auch
there
an
are
Sword of
gonna
the
be
Lich King und so
Tuskar,
weiter.
Tuskar,
Die haben ja irgendwo
Tuskar
ihren Ursprung, die
Kids.
kommen ja nicht von
So we're
irgendwo
gonna
her.
fight
Also die sind ja nicht
alongside
einfach so
them,
da.
which
Die kommen,
includes
das ist denen ihr
help from
Ursprungsort. Ja, klar.
Dragons,
Gut erklärt.
the Blue Dragons.
Gut
We're gonna
zusammengeschrieben.
follow the story of Kalagos, our blue dragon buddy from the Kirin Tor, and he's going to be adventuring into Sindragos' archives. It's a giant zone.
Aber es ist cool mit den
There's a lot
Drachen.
of surprises. When we're done there, we head over to Aldrazes.
Aldrazes. It's really incredible because you will be going
Taldrazes.
through some of the
Taldrazes.
previous zones and seeing a lot of ruins for the dragon buildings. But when
Ich
you
glaube,
get
da
to
wird so
Aldrazes, everything
das
is
Endgebiet
perfectly
sein.
intact. It's beautiful. It's pristine. It is the seat of power for all 5 Dragonflights and
Endgame.
home of the dragons. It feels that way with the huge vertical mountains. We've got these great cave systems where you may end up finding little dragon hordes.
My favorite Dragonflight right now is the Bronze. They've got a really cool area
Wie nennt
in
man das?
Aldrazes, and their magic is time. There's
Genau.
so many cool story hooks that we could dig into there. There's so many cool gameplay options, and we have a little bit of an adventure for players. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
I can't wait. We really wanted it
Ja,
to
von den
feel
Zonen
like
und
their
so
old
bin
stomping
ich
ground.
jetzt,
One
ja
of the
gut, bin ich
really
eher so
cool
bodenständig,
features
weil wir
is
haben
going
schon
to
sehr
be the main
viele,
city and
viele
player hub for this
Zonen
expansion,
und sehr viele
Dragon.
Games
It
gesehen,
is a
die in
culmination
dem
of
Look
all
nun mal
of
sind
the
und so weiter.
Dragons'
Ja,
efforts
ja,
to
das gehört
put
dazu.
together what
Das
a
ist auf
city
jeden Fall
would
stimmig
look
und das sieht auch gut
like.
aus.
So we ended up
Gut
having
Design.
a bunch of really fun small vignettes where you see that
Aber das ist
the blue
momentan der aktuelle
Dragonflight
Look von
is
WoW.
hosting a public library, and the red and green Dragonflights both have their
Aber
own
ich glaube, die
separate
Engine haben sie
gardens.
nicht
We also
großartig
have,
verändert.
some convenient
Nee.
services
Die
for
sollten sie
players,
auch machen.
including an auction house in the city.
So eine Unreal
So it'd be
Engine
really
5 wäre
nice
jetzt
if
zum
you're looking for
Beispiel,
more
das
exotic
wär's für
wares.
WoW.
The thing that really
Aber ich
sold
glaube, die
me on
bleiben ihrem
Aldrazes
Stil treu.
was the initial concept art we got of Tierhold.
Oh yeah.
Wow. And this
schön.
is a 10,000-year-old Titan technological
Muss ich
marvel.
ausmachen.
Tierhold has these awesome aqueducts that actually come out from the structure all the way to the city across the valley. And in the cinematic, there's just this amazing shot where you see Alexstrasza swoop under one of them, and there's splashes of water cresting across her wings. So when players are flying around themselves, they get to have their Alexstrasza moment. What an incredible place and filled with so much history.
Okay.
Tierhold was built by Tyr. He was a Titan Keeper back in the day who helped the Aspects fight Galakrond. And when they settled on the Dragon Isles, he built this facility. And even though Tyr's gone, the dragons have held him in reverence. But that was 10,000 years ago, and they've let the Titans maintain the place. An incredible amount of history has happened since then. Flights have been nearly wiped out. There have been invasions, betrayals, aspects
Das
of
ist
died.
Schwerkraft.
And these are the kind of things that leave marks on a society. So now they're all back here, and they're all here together.
As we were designing the zone and the city itself, we're trying to figure out, how do we tell those stories at the same time as making sure that this is a really convenient place for players to go and, go shopping, as they tend to do. So much adventuring happening on the Dragon Isles.
It's so cool.
As a player, you probably don't have your own dragon wings. You are going to learn the art of dragon riding.
It's so vertical, and I'm just excited to
Schade, dass sich grafisch nichts ändert. Ich glaube nicht. Ja, aber es hätte sein können. Es wäre ja eigentlich an der Zeit gewesen, dass sich grafisch einiges ändert, aber die Drachenreiter.
I'm Andy.
I'm Kali.
And I'm Graham. And I'm really excited to talk to you guys today about the Dracthyr Evoker, our new race and class coming in Dragonflight.
We're here to talk about not only the Evoker, but also dragon riding, which is our exciting expression into the exploration of the Dragon Isles.
We knew with a dragon-themed expansion, we wanted to let you play a dragon. Not a big dragon, Alexstrasza size. That'd be tough to fit into raids. I'm sorry, Jake. Okay. I know.
Fine.
But a draconic humanoid. So the Dracthyr, created by Neltharion.
And like our other hero classes, you get to choose if you want to start on the Horde or Alliance side on character creation.
So let's talk a little bit about the Evoker, the class they can be. What's unique about it is because the Dracthyr are created by an aspect.
Also es wird wieder sein, dass du beide, also die Klasse für beide Fraktionen spielen kannst, wie die Dämonenjäger, die Pandaren, nee, die Dämonenjäger nicht, aber die konntest du separat dann auswählen, aber wie bei den Pandaren, dass du dann einen Weg wählen kannst.
Of all their
Schon wieder ein
energy as they
Stift.
channel it into whatever spell that they're going to cast. You have a red magic spell called Pyre. So when you shoot it out of your mouth, it twirls in the air with all 5 of the Dragonflight's magic as it turns into the red spell before landing on your enemies and exploding and hopefully burning them.
I'll take that one. Getting that vibe across that they use all 5 was really important to us, but we did want to make sure that each specialization focused on 2, because casting 5 different colors gets a bit messy. So their damage dealer specialization, their first of 2, Devastation, mostly focuses on red and blue magic. Red being very fast and explosive, burning everything with
Meine Frau und
fire,
ich sind gerade
whereas
Babysitter.
blue is
Meine
more
Frau für die
focused
Oma
and
und ich für die
overwhelming.
Kleine.
You can shoot a beam of energy out of your mouth to disintegrate one single enemy in front of you.
There's a healer spec called Preservation. The healer spec is going to focus mostly on your green and your bronze magic. So your green is going to be evocative of the Emerald Dream, your growth and your nurturing spells. And then you have your bronze magic, which is going to be more timey-wimey. So you get to heal a wound faster.
So in addition to the visuals and the animation, which all make you feel very powerful, we really wanted the player to have a physical connection to the cast. We have a new type of spell called Empower, where when you actually hold down the button on your keyboard, it charges up the spell. The longer you charge it up, it might do more damage or hit more targets depending on the spell. But it gives you this really
Okay, Zauber werden gedrückt bei denen. Also je länger du die hältst, desto effektiver werden die
We
Zauber.
have some
Okay,
great
krass.
animations. Thank you, Andy. Your team.
Love it, Andy.
You feel physical
Die
when you're
physische
casting your spells.
You can actually fly around the
Kraft und
battlefield and
Zauber
cast
zu
while you're flying.
wirken. für
Raining fire and death from above. It's great.
In addition to the gameplay, though, another part of feeling draconic is looking like a dragon.
Well, we talk about dragons breathing fire, but you know what's actually fire?
What's actually
These
fire?
customizations.
Oh my goodness.
But no, they're really, really
They're
cool.
awesome.
Because you have both your draconic form and your humanoid form. And the customization options for both of them are amazing.
They're very good.
What about color? Just tell me you
tell
can
us about the
change
color. You can do a lot of matching. So your
Sorry, aber
visage
das
form
Design sieht ein
have
bisschen aus wie bei
scales
Lost
that are the
Ark,
same
ohne Witz.
color as your Drakthir
Ich meine, sie versuchen da Drachen reinzukriegen,
Super
aber...
favorite part of customization for the visage form? Hair.
Oder wie bei jedem anderen koreanischen Free-to-Play-Titel. Das ist aber schwierig bei Drachen.
As players make their way through each
Aber
of the
verschiedene
areas of the
Haarfarben,
Dragon Isle,
ja, okay.
they'll partner up with the
Also
Dragonflight
Kombination mit
to
Haarfarben.
move through the air as they've never done before. You'll notice I did not say flying because flight has a very specific meaning for World of Warcraft.
Yeah, it does.
And we're talking about something new called dragon riding.
And as the players are honing their dragon riding skills, they're going to get to see all new animations that go along with the different look and feel of the drakes.
We're aiming to shake up movement with this new system, providing players with a deeper immersion with forces like momentum and gravity.
We knew that for Dragonflight, we were going to have the opportunity to show players a whole new set of Dragon Isle drakes, completely unique from all the other things they've seen in World of Warcraft. And so we wanted to come up with a movement system that would add that sense of physics, weight, and gravity, like you were mentioning. We knew it was going to take a huge team effort, not just animation, but it was going to take effects. It was going to take the engineering team, who we rely on heavily, and that combined with some new animations really helps to lend that feeling of physics as you move through the air in ways that you haven't before. And the icing on the cake is going to be some really cool effects that we've added on top of all of that. So for example, when you start hitting, maximum velocity, you're going to see contrails coming off the edges of the wings. And then as you do your rolls and spirals, you build up more and more speed. There's going to be some screen effects on the display to indicate that you're reaching maximum velocity, which really adds to the overall kind of immersion and sense of reality.
As players make their way through the Dragon Isles, they'll discover new cosmetic options to fine-tune their Dragon Isle Drake's appearances. Things like snoots, horns, tails, elusive Dragon Isle Drake armor, and more.
And spikes.
Definitely. Okay. We want to provide players with all new skills to play with, as those who can use their momentum well can reach higher and higher heights and bring on new, more difficult challenges.
We just have so many new, gorgeous options to choose from, and I'm just so excited for all of them.
I'm excited for the whole thing. I mean, it's been a lot of fun to work on, but I can't wait to actually get in the game, play it with you guys.
I can't wait. I can't wait to fly around Dragon Isles. It's gonna be great.
Next up, you're going to hear about the talent revamp and the UI changes coming in Dragonflight.
Hello, my name is Brian.
I'm Crash.
I'm Jay.
Hi, Brian. Hi, Jay.
We are very excited to share your
Das ist
final
Laura.
revamping
Hallo.
the WoW HUD UI.
And it is also time
So.
for a major revamp to talents and specializations.
I have a big question for the group. How long do you think it took
Ist das
for us
ein
to
Mann?
finally revamp the
Okay,
WoW HUD?
krass.
My
Ja,
guess is
ja,
like
okay.
15 years.
Close, 18 years.
Ich habe nicht aufs Bild geschaut. Ist aber nicht schlimm.
You know, technology has changed a lot since we made the UI back in 2004. Now you have like bigger monitors, and us, we have better dev tools to work with. So it makes
Ja,
sense
bin ich jetzt sehr
to
gespannt
have
wegen dem
the
Interface.
revamp right now. Also, if you look at the game today, the art evolved beautifully over the years. And if you look at the HUD looks like it got frozen time.
So when we approached this, we wanted to create
a layout experience that players could customize, move things around,
Nun, er
adjust it
lernt
to fit
nebenbei noch
their
gerade Zahlen
needs.
schreiben.
Add-ons today, they do
Ist ja
a
schon
lot
5.
for player customization.
The downside is that not everybody uses them. It's about time that everybody has the opportunity to use them, that they become a part of the base UI.
Yeah, and we are working very closely with our user research team to make sure we are hitting the goals that our player needs.
It allowed us to add new functionality, to improve accessibility in a lot of areas, and on top of that, we are going to be improving the art.
Yeah, so
Das war mal ein Mann, ja. Das war mal ein, ja. Ein Mann. Das ist ein Divers. Ich glaube, Divers wird das heute genannt. Warum nicht? Jeder soll so leben, wie er das gerne mag. Ja. Und wenn er sich so glücklich fühlt, also wenn er sich so wohl fühlt, so just do it. Ganz wichtig, just do it.
So the new minimap, it looks bigger, and the health bar is also much bigger. If you look at the action bars and the bottom menus, they have less health frames, and you can really open up your gameplay, so you don't have a lot of your UI in front of you. And of course, we want to find iconic pieces from the current HUD, but we want to bring it back in a nice way. So we for sure updating the Griffins. They look so nice now. And the Horde, don't worry, we got you. We're going to have your version as well. So let's talk about the edit mode.
We are putting a mode in that will let players move various HUD elements around on the screen.
So I'm able to move the mini-map, say, from the right corner all the way over to the left corner. If I want to bring my action bars from the bottom and
ich finde die Symbole hier so ein bisschen so, also die Charakterfenster ein bisschen meh. Finde ich ein bisschen meh, sorry. Aber vielleicht, wenn es da verschiedene Layouts gibt, das wäre mega. Also das, was man mit Add-ons sowieso schon macht.
So if you're someone who jumps around a lot, as you switch, it will switch to whatever HUD layout you have for that spec.
This is an ongoing project. We're going to keep working on it. So we really want to hear back from you.
A project that we're all excited about, that we've been collaborating a lot on, is something that's pretty UI intensive, and that's the talent system.
It hadn't changed in a long time.
So, jetzt sind wir beim Talentsystem. Sehr
and
nice.
we really started with, how can we have players have more choice over what their character has?
As you level up, we give you a new spell or a new ability, something that kind of makes you stronger. But
also so wie es mal war, wenn du levelst, die Veränderung, die Erfahrung, so weiter, dass du das in ein System einbauen kannst. Talentbäume gab es schon ewig. Klassenlehrer, die dir verschiedene Fähigkeiten beigebracht haben, das werden wir in Sword of the Lich King, wenn wir das so immens sehen, was da passiert, das gab es alles schon mal. Bitte, danke, komm zurück damit. Obwohl die Talentbeutel, Talentbeutel ein bisschen lieblos aussehen, aber ist halt das neue Design.
There's a big nostalgia hit for me.
As we said, we have these two trees because we feel like
und das ist, wenn du Heiler bist und du bist auch DD, du kannst da zwischen den Bäumen hin und her wechseln, dass du zum Beispiel, wenn du Questen gehst, nicht mehr aufgeschmissen bist, wenn du nur Heiler bist. So kannst du verschiedene Attribute, Skillen aus anderen Bäumen zusammen kombinieren. Diese Freiheit, die ist ja schon ewig da gewesen. Sehr. Ja, genau. Also die Klassentrainer, das werden, wenn Sword of the Lich King Classic rauskommt, wir werden es komplett spielen, werden sie auch sehen, dass du immer wieder zum Klassenlehrer laufen musstest für neue Fähigkeiten und so weiter oder spezielle Quests machen musst. Beim Jäger ist es zum Beispiel, am Anfang hast du gar kein Pet, ab Level 10 bekommst du erst oder ab 9 oder so, bekommst du erst die Questreihe, die du machen kannst, damit du dir überhaupt erstmal ein Pet zähmen kannst, also ein Tier. Und dann musst du 3 verschiedene Arten von Tieren zähmen, damit du das beherrschst. Dann musst du zu einem anderen Questgeber, damit du dein Tier überhaupt füttern kannst. Das muss gefüttert werden, das Tier, sonst wird es stinkig und greift dich an. Oder als Jäger brauchst du Pfeile. Pfeile musst du separat kaufen und. Das gab's mal, ja. Es wurde alles sehr vereinfacht. Also die Klassenquest, die kann man wieder zurückbringen. Ja, wäre auch so ein bisschen so dieses Feeling, dieses Gefühl für deine Klasse, damit du weißt, was du spielst. Das ist sehr interessant. Das, wie gesagt, werden wir noch mal ein bisschen wiedererleben in Sword of the Lich King Classic. Freue ich mich mega drüber. Ich bin nebenbei privat BC Classic am Spielen, also offscreen, und es macht mega Spaß. Einfach so die Zeit so ein bisschen in die Aufgabe reinzustecken. Du fühlst, spielst und lebst deine Klasse. Das ist schon nice. Ja, also Bäume bin ich dabei, doch. Auch die spezifischen Aufgaben, das hat man ja bei Legion gehabt, mit den Ordensklassen. Bin ich total für.
Hi,
I'm Joanna.
And I'm Eric. And we're
Berufe.
going to talk about our plans for professions in Dragonflight. Professions have been a staple of World of Warcraft forever, and they've seen lots of really cool incremental updates over their life. But for Dragonflight, we want to do something a bit different. We really want to rethink professions and figure out how to make them
Berufe
part of your
revolutionieren,
identity as a player.
also revolutionieren, also auch wieder wichtig machen, das wäre gut.
Fun and relevant across all
Das
levels
Gameplay übergreifend, relevant sind, das wäre mega, das wäre sehr schön. Das, was du machst, auch so eine Bedeutung in diesem Spiel hat. Sonst brauchst du keine Berufe zu machen.
You can have it crafted through a crafting order.
Also, ja, man spürt es schon, sie gehen back to the roots.
Recipes that can be crafted, pick the one you want for yourself, and then you include some or all of the reagents needed for the recipe, including ones that only you can get your hands on. You can find someone in person to do it right in front of you for you, or you can also go to an NPC and using an auction house-like interface, send the order out. If you're doing this, you can pick, do you want to send the order to anyone, sort of a public order, or do you want to only send it to your guild, or to a specific other player? Maybe it's a friend who you know will be able to craft the item really well for you.
If you are really dedicated to your craft, you're going to be the best at what you do.
One of the coolest things about this is the item you had crafted can also be soul-bound. In the past, you could only get your hands on crafted soul-bound items by having that profession yourself. Now anyone can have them crafted for them, which is really neat and really expands the number of items that we can provide that are really powerful because everyone can have them crafted through the crafting order system.
This is also really cool because it means as a crafter, you can start building your client base. People are going to come back to you to get certain items. Maybe you're the best at making it, or you always throw in a little something extra. You're also going to be leveling up your profession. It's going to be really great.
So the first time you go to craft, you're going to notice a lot of different things, but probably the biggest is the introduction of quality, both to your crafted items and your gathered reagents. Quality works in a pretty simple way. If you craft something that's a higher quality, it's just going to be better. For a piece of gear, that probably means a higher item level. If it's, for instance, a potion, that might mean a more powerful effect at a higher quality.
And we're doing a lot of new things in the UI. We've put a lot of work into it to make sure that the professions feel really special and unique.
And another thing you might notice in the crafting UI that's new is the introduction of stats, specifically to your professions, both crafting and gathering. And this is another sort of major input into quality. Probably the biggest source of your ability to
Das muss ich auch sagen, das ist bei Cyberpunk zum Beispiel ganz nice gelöst. Du kannst in dem, wo du aufsteigst, kannst du deine Sachen selber herstellen. Die sind zwar jetzt nicht, ja, das ist das Problem wie mit jedem Berufen auch, aber du kannst diese dann aufwerten, bessere Qualität herstellen und so weiter, damit er was bringt überhaupt. Und das ist mega gut, hört sich sehr gut an, ja.
So let's say you're a blacksmith. You might decide that first you want to become an armor smith. And the more points you spend in armor smithing, the better you're going to get at crafting all armor.
This also means that if you specialize one way, other people
Das gab es schon mal bei Fraud of the Lich King damals, dass du dich spezialisieren konntest für Rüstungsmacher oder Waffenmeister. Das ist mega. Ja, kommt auch wieder. So viele gute Einfälle, die wir schon damals, oder Ideen oder was es schon damals im Spiel gab. Jetzt denken sie daran, oh, das war ja ganz gut, das beschäftigt ja die Leute. Ja, bitte, mehr davon.
And you're going to go in there and you're going to get to see all the different players crafting their items at their cool crafting tables.
Yeah, it means you're going to walk into the city and you're going to see like all these alchemists huddled over here, and you're gonna see all these blacksmiths over by the forge. There will be other players filling orders or grabbing orders. It's gonna be a whole new crafting area that's gonna make you feel really part of the world.
It just seems like a much more lively area than it has in the past.
What I'm most excited about, though, is
Wie gesagt,
we're introducing
ich bin aktuell Babysitter für Luna und meine Frau für die Oma.
To say mine and node, you're actually gonna just switch into
Oh, das wird cool.
Really great.
Ah, cool, so richtig so kostümiert, dass man von weitem schon sieht, wenn du in der Stadt bist, oh, das ist ein Schmied. Da kann ich hingehen. Ich brauche jetzt eine neue Waffe. Ich habe die Mats dafür, ich gebe sie dem, ich gebe den Arbeitsauftrag und dann let's go.
And as you get your hands on better versions of the gear, it's really going to help you get better at your profession.
I can't wait.
Thank you for tuning in to the Dragonflight Deep Dive.
You've heard a lot about the content and changes coming in Dragonflight, and we've got a lot more in store for you in the coming months.
Until then, we'll see you in Azeroth.
Ah ja. Gut, ich glaube, das war's mit dem Stream.
Oh, schön.
Wir sind durch. Ja, das war die Präsentation. Sie sind jetzt am Schluss noch ein bisschen mehr drauf eingegangen wegen den Klassen und so weiter. Und auch die Berufe werden wieder spannender und so weiter und so fort. das, was ich jetzt so mitbekommen habe, weil Papa hier, Papa da, Papa da, Papa da. Und ich finde es gut, dass man darf gar nicht in den Chat reingucken, da kriegt man ja Augenkrebs. Warte mal. Ja, Moment. Wir gehen mal kurz hier rüber. Im Chat sind sie sich wieder am Ausrollen. Alles Scheibenkleister. So, alles klar. Moment.
Habe ich nichts geändert. Ich finde, es hat, also schon der Trailer hat viel.
Es ist,
Es ist auch nur eine Präsentation, noch kein fertiges Spiel.
Ja, klar. So, alles klar. Nee, dann lassen wir das mal gerade auf.
Die Vorstellung.
So, ja, an dem, Moment. Ein bisschen Musik im Hintergrund an. So, also ich denke mal, ja, es wird jetzt keine Unreal Engine 5, das ist klar. Sie holen immer noch das Beste aus der Engine raus, die sie haben für WoW. Jetzt ist es aber das, was ich eigentlich genau sehen wollte, ist leider nicht dabei. Wie Azeroth sich entwickelt in der Zeit. Es wird ja alles Re-Update, so wie Cutter zum Beispiel. Naja, mein Fazit ist eher bescheiden, gute Ideen, nicht so toll umgesetzt, bleibt zu viel bei dem Alten. Das ist ja, sie gehen auch generell mit den Berufen wieder so ein bisschen mehr back to the roots, sie versuchen auch jetzt gewisse Dinge wieder zurückzuholen und so weiter und auch wieder zu überarbeiten, aber ich glaube, das ist das Ding, was auch jetzt die ganze Zeit schon das war und es auch sein wird. WoW ist jetzt das, was wir haben. Es wird sich immer wieder ein bisschen was ändern, ein bisschen an den Quests und so weiter und so fort. Es wird an den Berufen gearbeitet, dass die wieder wertvoller werden. Vielleicht ein bisschen da, die nächste Erweiterung. Und es wird, glaube ich, so sein. Und es wird auch so sein, dass es nie wieder so sein wird, wie es mal war. Aber WoW ist WoW. Und das wird jetzt das ist jetzt das Spiel. Das ist World of Warcraft, das, was wir jetzt haben. Das ist es. Großartig, es war auch eher ernüchternd, was wir jetzt gesehen haben, aber großartige Veränderungen werden wir nicht sehen. Es wird WoW sein. Und die jetzt sagen, okay, da gefällt mir trotzdem nicht, was jetzt passiert, es wird nicht mehr anders sein. Ich glaube, WoW wird jetzt das sein, den Weg, den sie jetzt eingeschlagen haben, das ist jetzt der Blick auf das Game und es wird sich nicht mehr großartig ändern. Vielleicht weiterentwickeln, aber in die Richtung, die jetzt schon vorgegeben ist, wenn man das jetzt so nachvollziehen kann. Und das ist jetzt bei dem Fakt, entweder man spielt es oder man lässt es bleiben. Und das ist jetzt aktuell WoW. Das ist es. Und ich werde es spielen, Jackie wird spielen. Und es ist aber dann auch so, wo man sagen muss, Moment. Ja, okay. Ich hör die Musik auf meinem Kopfhörern. Das ist der Moment, wo man sagt, okay, das ist WoW und das spiele ich gerne. Und wenn man jetzt was anderes erwartet, wird es nicht so sein.
Auch wenn man jetzt einen Geschiss macht, nur wegen der Grafik, mein Gott, es ist WoW. WoW hat schon immer diesen Stil gehabt und machen das langsam besser. Warum überstürzen? Sollen wir dann WoW genauso den Standpunkt haben wie Cyberpunk, dass du es real direkt am Anfang in die Mülltonne kloppen kannst und dann wirklich jeder weg ist?
Wie gesagt, WoW ist WoW und bleibt auch, denke ich mal, so wie es ist, auch von der Grafik her und so weiter. Ja, und genau, guter Punkt, ja. Ja, das ist es ja. Die sind arm dazu. Ja, es ist wirklich so. Wenn die jetzt zum Beispiel, vielleicht würde es mal so sein, dass sie eine neue Engine einbauen, aber...
Die haben ja gezeigt, sie können, aber es braucht halt viel Arbeit.
Aber es ist nun mal Art und Design.
Und sie haben so viele Leute verloren, die sie jetzt erstmal mit der Arbeit wieder aufholen müssen.
Ja, aber wie gesagt, so wie WoW jetzt ist oder jetzt auch aktuell läuft, es wird immer so sein. Es wird vielleicht sich ein bisschen was ändern, vielleicht grafikmäßig, ja. Genau. Ich schaue nur zu. Genau, Ren, genau. Nee, das ist uns zu, danke, euch zu. Wem schaust du denn noch zu? Nee, das ist wirklich so, das ist wie mit jedem anderen Spiel auch. Ich persönlich, ich habe sehr viele andere Spiele angespielt und habe mir sehr viele andere Spiele angeguckt. Mein kleines Spektrum wird die Spiele sein, die ich mag. Und das ist auch ganz wichtig, Jeder darf das spielen, was er mag. Und das ist auch mit der Meinung, dass es jetzt aktuell das Spiel jetzt für den einen nichts ist. Das ist auch richtig so. Das ist ja auch gerade so, das passt ja. Das will ja auch gar keiner, auch gar keiner sagen, dass du jetzt, also dass man, wenn man die Meinung hat, dass man sagt, nee, du musst aber jetzt. Nee, das ist ja Schwachsinn. Jeder soll ja das spielen, worauf er Bock hat. Das ist ganz wichtig. Und wie wir auch eben gerade das Thema im Stream ja schon hatten, wo ich gesagt habe, boah, das ist ja ein Mann, das sah aber aus wie eine Frau. Ja, wenn man sich so wohlfühlt, um Gottes Willen, bitte, ja. Aber ich denke, für den Stream hast du gut gemacht, aber ich muss jetzt endlich mal kochen. Nein, jedem so, wie er mag. Genau, jedem so, wie er mag. Ganz wichtig. Und ihr werdet auch bei uns weiter den Content sehen, den wir mögen. Und wir werden mit euch zusammen auch über Dinge reden, die ihr mögt. Das ist ganz wichtig. Das ist ja diese Art Meinungsfreiheit. Und das auch mit der Meinungsfreiheit ist ja auch ein Stück weiter auf das, dass man das akzeptiert, was der andere mag. Das ist auch ganz wichtig dabei. Ne? Ich kann nicht erwarten, wenn ich jetzt ganz blödes, runtergebrochenes Beispiel, wenn ich sage, das Spiel ist das, was ich mag, das ist das Beste und du bist nicht meiner Meinung, da muss man das akzeptieren und nicht sagen, nee, du musst aber das Spiel jetzt auch mögen. Das ist Schwachsinn. Das ist absoluter Schwachsinn. Ganz wichtig, dem das gefällt, auf jeden Fall. Und so feiern wir unsere Games und jeder so. Und ich habe auch andere Games ausprobiert und so wie Lost Ark oder zum Beispiel New World. Man sagt ja, Moment, aber vom Grundprinzip her ist es doch dasselbe. Das ist Schwachsinn. Jedes Spiel ist in seiner Art, in das, was es macht, es gibt viele Kopien, das ist klar. Aber in seiner Art ist es anders, ganz anders. Und man sollte das anders, was man mag, sollte man unbedingt spielen. Das ist ganz wichtig. Ja, weil sonst ich gehe auch nicht hin und sage, okay, mit Call of Duty hätte ich jetzt mehr, vor allen Dingen, wie ich es schon ausspreche, mit Call of Duty hätte ich wesentlich mehr Zuschauer. Hätte ich. Aber es macht mir keinen Spaß. Warum sollte ich Call of Duty spielen? Alter, dicker Schwör, voilà. Weißt du, sowas zum Beispiel. Nee. Und darum ist ganz wichtig, nein. Das muss nicht sein. Nein. So. Aber für den Stream war es gut und genau, sind anders. Auf jeden Fall. Jeder ist anders, jeder ist so gut, wie er ist, das ist ganz wichtig. Andere sind bescheuert, aber naja, was willst du da machen? Nee, aber sonst, man kann die nicht mit WoW vergleichen. WoW ist WoW und bleibt es auch, wie man es sieht. Richtig, genau. Das ist es. Es wird immer so der Kern sein. Und wenn sie jetzt in dem Game sagen, okay, wir wollen die Berufe interessanter gestalten, wir wollen ein bisschen mehr an die Talentbäume kommen wieder. Wenn wir das wieder zurückholen, ja bitte. Und ich habe ja auch schon im Stream gesagt, so, jetzt müssen wir mal ein bisschen von dieser Hypewelle mal runterkommen. Es ist es ist nicht komplett neu, aber sie gehen noch ein bisschen back to the roots zu dem, was wir schon immer hatten. Es war schon immer da. Sie haben es rausgenommen und jetzt tun sie es dann in ein neues Gewand stecken und sagen, guck mal hier, das ist die Innovation. Nee, das hatten wir schon alles. Das war in Classic schon verdammt gut gewesen. Vielleicht ein bisschen mehr angepasst, vielleicht ein bisschen mehr, das Ganze ein bisschen mehr vereinfacht. Aber das, was jetzt zurückkommt, ist das, was wir mögen. Und ich bin mal gespannt. Ich werde die neue Klasse spielen, ich werde den neuen Content spielen und mal schauen. Ich bin auf jeden Fall gespannt auf die Drachenreittiere, die wir Drachenzähmen leicht gemacht, so gesehen uns selber zähmen, selber zusammenbauen. Wir können denen die Schnauze verändern, wir können neue Hörner, also andere Hörner, die Schweife zum Beispiel, die Farben kannst du anpassen, du kannst den Drachen eine Rüstung verpassen und jeder Drache, den du designst oder zusammenbaust, verhält sich auch anders im Flug. Das ist mega gut. Das sind so Innovationen, die WoW fehlen. Und was ich total schade finde, ist, dass dieser Roleplay-Faktor von WoW komplett verloren gegangen ist. Das ist das, was auch Sharpie dann halt in den Chat reingeschrieben hat. So ein bisschen mehr zurück, aber jetzt zum Lehrer rennen müssen, für eine neue Fähigkeit zu lernen oder zum Waffenmeister zu müssen, um jetzt zum Beispiel, das habe ich jetzt im Classic BC gehabt, ich habe mit dem Jäger angefangen und habe ein Zweihandschwert bekommen und konnte das nicht ausrüsten. Dann musste ich zum Waffenmeister gehen, musste Silber hinlegen, was verdammt teuer ist, wenn du anfängst, um dieses Schwert zu lernen. Dann habe ich dieses Schwert angelegt und ich habe mit dem Schwert 0 Schaden gemacht, weil es auf 0 geskillt war. Das heißt, ich muss das Schwert holen und muss erstmal mit dem Schwert loslegen, damit ich das überhaupt beherrsche. Und das ist dieser Roleplay-Faktor, der bei WoW leider komplett verloren gegangen ist. Aber die Macher, die sagen auch ehrlich, sie sind jetzt auf dem Punkt, WoW ist nicht mehr so ein langgezogenes Spiel, wo du alle deine Zeit reinsteckst. Du kannst es schon, aber es ist darauf ausgelegt, schnell. Wenn die Erweiterung fertig ist, dann muss der erste innerhalb von den nächsten 6 Stunden Max-Level sein, sonst macht es keinen Spaß. Der nächste muss sofort auf den Endcontent draufgestiegen sein und es muss alles schnell gehen. Das merke ich, wenn ich dann halt Content produziere oder meine Art, wie ich Games spiele, das ist nie richtig. Das ist viel zu langsam und langweilig, aber es ist meine Geschwindigkeit. Und ich bin ja auch schon in einem gewissen Alter, da darf alles ruhig mal ein bisschen langsamer gehen. Und ja, aber es ist darauf ausgelegt, schnell. Endgame, Endcontent, Raid, zack, durch. Dann darf die Erweiterung noch keinen Tag auf dem Markt sein. Ist schade, dass es so ist, aber ich glaube, dafür ist auch der Grund, warum es die Classic-Server gibt. Sie haben ja auch gesagt, sie werden ein paar Anpassungen an Fraud of the Lich King vornehmen, an den kosmetischen Designs und so weiter, weil die Frage ist, was ist Classic? Ne? Ob du jetzt das erste Mal mit Fraud of the Lich King angefangen hast oder erst am Ende hinzugekommen ist, war ja eine Riesenentwicklung. Und der Friseur kommt dabei, die Erfolge, dann haben sie noch so ganz viele Kleinigkeiten, die dann wieder dazukommen. Der Dungeon Finder zum Beispiel, da haben sie jetzt zwar gar nicht drüber gesprochen, aber der Dungeon Finder muss auch zurückkommen und das sind so die Annehmlichkeiten. Ja, und dafür kriegen wir die Classic-Server. Damit wir unsere Nostalgie in diesen Classic-Servern ausleben können, aber dann trotzdem immer noch Retail spielen können. Ja.